Now, hello, buddy. What we have is a chapter 10 of our human geography, human settlements. And in very brief, we are going to just discuss that. First, what is in the chapter is what are the two type of settlements. First is rural settlement and what is urban settlements. And all the details will be clear to you, I think. And what are the patterns of settlements? Then first is compact or nucleated settlements. Then second is dispersed settlements. Then rural settlements, what are the factors influencing rural settlements? That first is water supply, second is land, third is upland, fourth is building material, and at last defense. Then in the plant settlements, what are the factors? Plant settlements are constructed by governments, provide shelters, waters, and drainage facilities. They provide infrastructure facilities, ex-villagization in Ethiopia, Rajasthan, Canal in India, for example. And rural settlement pattern are based on settings. So first is plain settlements, plain villages, then we have plateau villages, then we have coastal villages, foreign villages, desert villages, and on the based of function we have farming, we have fisherman villages, we have lumberjack villages, we have pastoral villages, and on the base of shape we have linear, rectangular, circular, star shaped, and T shaped, double village and cross shaped villages. So now talking about problems of rural settlements, then we have first is lack of infrastructure. In rural area, there is a lack of infrastructure and there is a lack of supply, and the road facilities are not very much thing, and there is a very large problem of waterborne diseases, and sometimes drought and flood is also in the rural areas. And there is absence of toilet and garbage disposal in rural area, and this problem need to be addressed by the government, and government is addressing, but a lot is done, a lot is left to be done. Then lack of ventilation and lack of health facilities and education. Although the government is trying, but there is a need to do and provide health facilities and education in rural area. Then what are the problems in talking about urban settlements? The first city reached 1 million was London by 1880, and by 1982 there were 175 countries reached 1 million population, and 48 top population lived in urban settlements. Now, talking about classification of urban settlements, the population size, the criteria for urban centers in various countries is 1500 in Colombia, 2000 in Argentina and Portugal, 2500 in USA and Thailand, 500 in India, 30,000 in Japan, and the density is more than 40% per square kilometer, 400% per square kilometer. More than 75% of people work in other than primary occupation, to 50% per square kilometer in Sweden and Denmark, Finland, at 300 in Iceland and 100,000 in Canada and Venezuela. Now talking about administration, so first is municipal level, cantonment board, notified area council. In India, it is considered as urban central Latin America. All administrative centers are urban centers. Location: military center, seaport center, strategic towns, mining towns, tourist towns, recreational towns, educational towns, industrial towns, administrative towns, commercial towns. Then what are the classification of towns on the basis of farms? Then first we have linear, square, crescent, planned cities. Example: Addis Ababa in New Flower, Cambria, Sweden size. Now talking about towns, what are towns? These are enlarged village, manufacturing, retail, having wholesale facilities and professional services. City is a leading town. Greater number of functions, transport terminals, major financial institutions, and regional administrative office are in the city. Then what is conurbation? This term is coined by Patrick Goddess in 1915, merging towns of number of towns slash cities. Example: London, Manchester, Chicago, Tokyo. Then we have Mogul office used by P.Y. Gene Gutman, super metropolitan region. It is a union of counterbatten sex Boston in Washington. Then we have million city. London is the first town to reach 1 million in 1800, followed by Paris in 1850, and in New York in 1860. Then 1950 there are 80 cities, and 438 in 2005. What is the distribution of mega cities? Then we have population more than 10 million, that is mega city. New York was the first to attain this status in 1950 with population of 12.5 million. Then there are 12 mega cities at present. What are the problems of human settlements in developing countries? So first is unsustainable concentration of population. In developing countries, population is more, so there is unsustainable concentration. Secondly, congested housing and the streets, as we can see in our cities like Kanpur and a lot of villages, a lot of cities. There is a lack of drinking water, that's a major problem. Lack of electricity, serious disposal, health, educational facilities. I think most of the developing countries like in the sewage facility, educational and health facility, and there is a lack of transport facilities too. And we have health and educational facilities, and water and air pollution is a challenge also in developing countries. Now, what are the problem of urban settlements? The first is economic problem, then we have socio-cultural problems, and we have environmental problems. And in all this section, we have also some subsections of problems. So this was very brief of the chapter human settlements. So shining off.